Today, we're here with the first week of King's Court Pokemon Draft League, Moltres Meltdown. I am Kyrogeniz, and I'm joined by the content team, including...
Cardinals29. Hello.
Jamaarkques. Hello.
Hey, it's your boy Rexalis. You know how it is, baby.
Yes, sir.
I'm hype.
Here we are, baby. This is going to be a great season. I can feel it already. So, we're going to start this video out a little simple. We did some preseason power rankings. People responded to the forum. 6 of us. 4 of them were in the call. And we're going to talk about how this draft kind of shaked out and this little free agency period kind of shaped our expectations and who we think the playoff contenders are going to be. Alright, guys. We're going to start from the bottom. And there's a very, very clear contender for the worst team in the league.
God.
For the record, it wasn't me, Temp, but Skypillar VIP is looking like our weakest team so far. Let's just take a peek at that.
Okay, listen. There's some good ideas here, and it starts off pretty promising at the top. And honestly, some of the changes were pretty good. I'm a big fan. You're really losing me at the bottom, man. We're picking up Electrode, Hisui, and Oricorio, and what are we doing with this, man?
Hey, wait. Don't sleep on Electrode Hisui, man. That
But
gives
he's
him
not
a
a
lot
Terra
of...
captain.
Without Terra, though?
Oh, he's not?
No.
Oh,
He has Slowbro Galar for some reason.
Yikes. Yeah, that's rough, man.
Yeah.
I can't lie to you. You should definitely take off the Terra on Slowbro Galar and put that on Electrode. That's what I ended up running last season.
Mhm.
And it was a pretty solid Terramon overall, IMO.
Oh, absolutely.
It
That's speed
needs
control,
it.
good coverage,
It needs it, to be honest.
Terra Blast.
Honestly, I feel like this is a pretty good baseline for the worst team, though.
True.
This could win games.
I mean, if he switches out those bottom 3 Shipmons, I think he has a really solid team, honestly.
Also, just to clarify for anyone, like new watching that doesn't maybe know the rules of the league or anything, only Pokemon with 12 points and below are allowed to Terra. So that way, it keeps the format a little bit fresh. It's not just your whole team revolving around Dragonite E-Speed, pretty much.
Yep.
So just for reference to that, that's why he's Terraing, Lucario and Slowbro, and not someone like Baxcalibur and Iron Moth.
Yep. Thanks for the clarification. And to add on that, it's only 150 points per roster, so that's why some of them look super top heavy and kind of fall off a cliff. It's just the balancing of the game. But honestly, I think Skypillar VIP can steal some games. I don't know if he'll sneak in the playoffs. I think he needs to do a little bit of adjusting on this roster to make it a contender, in my opinion. But
He needs to up his bottom half somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for being the worst team in the league, I'd be happy with the worst team in the league. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that bad. That's workable.
Yeah, for sure.
Looking at the next lowest. Looking at you, Rockruff Days. Shout out the 3 dogs, because that's goated. It's a great idea.
Legendary dogs.
I love that.
It starts to lose me, though, because I don't see what this team really does together. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of Mon slack.
Yeah, it's commendable. I'll give him some points for effort. The free agent roster, hard move. Gotta respect it.
Mm-hmm.
There's some questionable things in here. I think Raikou Corviknight is like a great core to build off.
Absolutely.
I think having the dogs is hilarious. There's some questionable choices like Halucha and I don't know. There's potential here,
Yeah.
but it doesn't quite get there for me. I don't know.
I also feel like Slowbro and Suicune kind of just do the same job in a way. Not gonna
They
lie.
do. That was a big reason I put it alone.
Yeah. So it's just essentially like a wasted slot there. I don't know when, you kind of just throwing the 2 mons up in the air for whether or not you're just gonna bring one over the other. And also for added context for this team specifically, he wasn't able to make the draft day, and so he just gave Jamaarkques 3 mons and said, "Hey, pick these for me," and then after that, skip me.
Yep.
And he just kind of picked up the scraps off of everyone else. So
Yeah.
for that, honestly, the team looks good. And what's crazy is that he's not the worst team.
Yeah.
Shout
out.
There's that
Shout out
too.
that. I think if he dropped that Slowbro for Cleavor.
Where I would go with this team, I would drop Halucha, and I would drop Slowbro for at least 1 ground type.
Absolutely.
Oh, he doesn't have a ground type.
Maybe
No,
Clodsire and Cleavor, I think. think
Something
that's
like
a good
that could work if that works with points. I don't know.
shot. It is. It's
If it
18,
was-
15 respectively. So that'd be
Okay.
perfect.
Oh yeah, that'd be a
That'd
great
be a lot
start,
better.
honestly. Yeah.
If it was me, I would drop Slowbro, Entei, and Holucha. Pick up Blood Moon and then work from there.
Oh yeah, Blood Moon's still a free
Ooh.
agent, which is
I wouldn't
Crazy.
pick up I would probably drop Entei, but I can respect if he wants to keep the dogs. You know,
Yeah.
that's why I didn't
I get
suggest it.
if he wants Blood Moon, he could drop like Shift Tree since it's not a
It's
Terra
kinda
captain.
hard.
It's kind of useless without Terra, in my opinion.
That's true.
So you drop Shift Tree Halucha and get Blood Moon, and then switch out Cleavor or get a Cleavor probably, because he has ground type with that. But it's not bad for a free agent team, I gotta say.
I kind of like Blood Moon, yeah.
And our number 12 team overall is right next to him, Mr. Wiggle
Wiggle
Whoop.
whoop.
I'm not gonna lie, this first round pick was terrible. I'll be real.
Hate the Terapagos here.
It really puts a whole wrench in any plan to be made.
Man,
Also-
that shit stinks.
I think this
What?
might be the only team that got worse with free agent team
True.
pickups. I kind of liked it a little before. Like, why do we have a Floatzel and a Graveler
And a
on our
Murkrow.
team? I don't even hate the Murkrow,
I
but
don't
like,
love it.
I certainly don't love it. But I mean, hey, it's all good, man.
I will say because but like before we get to my team, this is just I guess like a little sneak peek into it. I was actually thinking of picking up Raging Bolt, and he kind of sniped it from me, so I'm kind of like I don't know, a bit salty on that in a way, but but despite that, I did rate him down here at 12 because like it just seems all over the place. It really does, and it doesn't seem like he has that many of great switches into a lot of things.
Right.
So there's that too. He also doesn't have any like grounded poisons for any potential toxic spikes. Doesn't have greatest hazard clear, if any.
Bro doesn't
Maybe
have a poison
Graveler?
type at all.
Terapagos.
Graveler,
Like,
Tropical can drop his spin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, okay, but I mean, you know, like if it's coming in on hazards, that means you're forced to run boots on that thing. When you really want to probably be running leftovers, and its ability, like if you're, you know, you have to if you're gonna use it as your spinner,
Right.
pretty much to keep this not very effective hit coming out on it. So there's that, and like Jeremy mentioned before, the Floatzel's kind of just shoehorned in there for whatever reason. Sceptile, terrible mon. It's just a subseeder. It doesn't do anything else.
Right. It's like if you're gonna go Sceptile, you might as well go Electro to Sui and do a better job at it.
Yeah, or even hey, Thwacky.
Thwacky.
I know.
Thwacky is a goat
Yeah,
free agent, man.
Thwacky. I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
no.
and he's lower in points. Does the
Yeah.
same thing.
It's a
you know what I'm
4-point
saying?
mon, I'm pretty sure, or a 6-point mon, something like
Yeah,
that. It's really low.
Exactly. What would you guys want to see him make his Terra captains here?
A whole new bottom
Not-
set.
Yeah, something not on this sheet right now.
I think there are a lot of good Terra captains out there still, and these are certainly not
Yeah.
helping at all. So here, let's take a look at some of these.
I mean,
Yeah.
I personally dropping for Hitmontop, dropping Graveler as your
Oh,
house
that'd be
control
so
and
good.
Hitmontop.
That'd be
And
good.
then
Yeah,
pick
that'd be a
up
Overquill's
Terra
out
captain.
there,
Start.
Sandaconda's out there, Venomoth.
Jamark and I were talking about this at an 11-point mon that is really hidden tech. Alcremie.
Outcreamy.
Can't lie.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I
Yeah.
think it's a solid Terra captain.
Decoration as that
Yeah.
thing's move is pretty good.
And he has
I
no
think if he
fairy,
picks
too.
that up, yep,
Mhm.
exactly. If he gets that, he can Terra Fairy it, gets a stab, decoration, and he has a good setup mon, and he can, you know, work around that. It's bulky as well, combine sweeper, whatever you want to do with it, pretty much.
think it's good stuff.
Poltegeist is back on the market, I believe.
Yeah, Poltergeist.
That could be a pickup.
Oh, that's another good one. That's
Yeah.
that's a good Terra
He has a very severe lack of Ghost on this team.
that as well.
The best type in the game.
Pursuit does not exist. It's true. So,
Eh,
but yeah, a lot of room there, but
absolutely.
it's better than the previous.
Which is crazy. I honestly, in hindsight, I would bump this thing down still. Honestly, like I think I ranked it at 13. I probably would make it the worst team. Honestly,
I think
It
the
is.
worst team.
I think
Yeah,
since the
maybe.
free
I could
agents,
see it.
Sky Pillar has gotten a lot better.
He
Yeah,
has,
yeah, that's true. Honestly, you're right about that.
But the next one in our consensus is Dear Defenders down over here, which I know is divided in this call if I'm recalling correctly.
I am kind of I'm not the biggest deer defender, but I think it's a little higher than you guys are giving it credit for, at the very least.
Now, hear me out, cards. I think the Mons on this team are fantastic, and they have
Yeah.
great synergy. But bro only
Uh-huh.
has one physical attack. like one real physical attack,
It's Garchomp.
and that's it. The rest are just special mons.
Yeah,
Bring,
which
no,
is
yeah,
fine.
you bring light
he needs
screen
some
or have
work.
like an amnesia, like it's
Yeah.
kind of struggling.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't love the Darkrai, but it gives him a much-needed Ghost Resist on this team.
Yeah.
But he's got, like, really good synergy. He's got fantastic speed tiers with, like, Screamtail, Regieleki, Darkrai. And, like, I'm not the biggest Registeel fan, but it honestly works really well with this roster.
Yeah.
What I would do was, I mean, Regigigas needs to go,
Immediately.
and then you can also drop Farafarig, and then you have like 7 points to get a pretty solid physical attacker, and then you just like throw a little 1-point guy in there.
Yep.
That's what I would do from here. But I think this roster with like some small tweaks could be really good.
Good. I think the problem with this roster to me is, even though there's nothing wrong with overloading special in my opinion, because for spoilers, my roster is very physical heavy. But if you overload a wall, they can't really handle it, right? Unless they have like 2 or 3 walls that can eat it. So I think that overloading special is fine, but I don't know, I think there are good pieces that work together, but there's no real strong win con in my opinion. I think Darkrai is too inconsistent. I think Garchomp needs too much to happen for him. Regieleki does the same thing every time. It gets walled by a ghost.
Yeah,
type.
if he picked up like Carter was saying, if he picked up like a strong 7-point mon that can like Terra, and like set up like with a Shell Smash or something, it could be pretty good.
But the
I mean,
thing-
he does have Sinistcha. I think Sinistcha with Terra, and Calm Mind. I don't know if I'm even saying that correctly. I'll be honest with you. But I'll just call it the T-Mon. With Terra and Calm Mind, the T-Mon can just sit there, just tank hits for days. It's very physical heavy. It's a ghost type.
Yeah.
It heals off his signature move and can burn, and it gets Calm Mind. I think that's a pretty good mon for him to like set up and win with. But
Also, he said he doesn't have a win con. I just think you're underestimating how potent Scale Shot Garchomp is. I'll be honest.
true.
That thing is a-
One
yeah.
triple axle, it's cooked, bro.
I mean,
Who would want to
yeah,
get triple axle?
Like-
You got Registeel right there for the switch in, bro.
you can say that, but like, at the end of the day, if it gets one setup off, you're probably losing the game in a lot of cases. Plus, like, you have to play with that the whole game in mind. I don't know. I think it's a pretty solid win con. You're kind of underplaying it a little.
Maybe. Well, this is where the polls start to get divided, so we're gonna have to start going on our own here. With Deer, Whoop, Rockruff, and Skypillar out of the way, who we say is our 9? I think the highest one is Oricorios for votes, but
I would agree with Oricorios being next up on the list here.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
based off what's available,
see.
yeah, I would probably agree with that. Because you could say Trick Room, but I think that team is strong once the Trick Room comes together. TTT's in that conversation too.
Oh,
Oh,
TTT.
for sure.
I think it's
I would
TTT or
see.
Oricorio.
I would put Oricorio above TTT. I'll be honest.
Let me see Oricorio's team one more time. I know
Oricorio
it's-
is up here with the Iron Val, Cinderace. It's like a solid. It's solid. I like what it's trying to do.
I would also put Deer Defenders over TTT.
Ooh,
Mm,
I'm not
T-
sure. how
the
far-
thing about TTT, go back down to TTT real quick.
Yeah, let's talk about TTT next.
The thing about TTT is that it has next to no synergy other than the 2 walls
Yep.
being pretty good for each other. But damn, does that motherfucker hit hard on like everything
Dude,
else.
This is the most whack rain pivot I've ever seen.
It is.
now. I mean, just
it
look
is a
at this.
crazy ring pivot.
What
Yeah,
happened here?
absolutely.
Oh,
I mean,
What is
okay.
Excadrill doing here? Why is
I
Frog
don't know.
Namorous here?
Excadrill's like fine, hazard control. Hate Polytoad, hate Golduck. And Amorous is like weirdly alright here, even though I think the Mon is way too many points, so I'd probably just drop it anyways. But yeah.
It's like, I want it to be good because Gouging Fire Iron Bundle is like, yes, that's so strong, but
That's a fantastic offensive core.
what the hell are they
Yeah.
doing?
I mean, those 4 together are pretty good. Gouging Fire, Bundle, Dozo, and Blissey as
Yeah.
a core.
I think.
And I think Excadrill fits pretty nicely with that core, to be honest.
I think it's definitely.
I can
serviceable.
see the synergy there. You definitely want a ground type if you're like stacking up this many water types.
This is so
But-
troll, man. This Politoed
I hate the Politoed Golduck.
needs to get the hell out of here.
You
I agree.
got Pelipper at home, bro. It sucks.
It's tough. Pelipper got second picked.
Do you think he Terra? Obviously, he's going to Terra the Blastoise.
Blastoise.
That's just obvious.
Uh,
Shell Smash. But do you think he Terras the Politoed or the Golduck here? I would assume the Golduck here, yeah.
I think.
I don't
You
think
But what does
could.
Golduck? But what does Golduck do?
Exactly.
Well, it's like you can maybe Swiss swim sweep with it if you tear it. The other argument for Politoed would be like it allows it to switch in way more, which could be beneficial. Maybe
Yeah.
it enables your iron bundle more. So
True.
I don't know. It just kind of depends on how you want to play it.
He has value, but it just sucks. It just sucks to look at this team. It's hard to see what's happening, in my opinion. I don't see the line. Compared to Oricorio's, I see a line. I see a very clear line of what he wants to do here. That this Iron Vow
Yeah.
is going to come in and sweep or wall break with choice item. This Cinderace is going to constantly pivot and smack hard, outspeed most things there. Glamora and Toxapex are stalling and setting up hazards. Weezing eats hits for the Cinderace, Iron Vow, and Zoroark. Like, I don't know. I think there's a very clear identity here.
I mean, me personally, I don't like the Cinderace Glamora combo all that much. I feel a little bit anti-synergistic. but-
Rude
I mean,
change.
I guess, but Cinderace is so versatile outside of court change.
Right.
Like, it's just another one of your options. Plus, it can allow you to free up your Glamora. Like, you saw a lot of specs
Mm-hmm.
from Glamora last season. It allows you to
Power.
play more loosely around hazard control.
I
I think
to
it's nice.
Cinderace, similarly to Meowscarada, and the fact that they can just Libero or Protean burst something, like free Terra, essentially, right? I think it's
Yeah.
very flexible as a mon.
Yeah.
Choice Banded, it hits like a truck. Has good coverage, gets priority. I think it's very needed on this team.
Yeah, between Glamora and Weezing, he also does have solid hazard control, so he can afford to go like band or more hard-hitting sets like that over boots.
Absolutely.
I like it.
I think it's a very clear identity. I would agree. I would definitely say it's better than TCT now that we've kind of talked about it.
So what would we? So what would we say between the three of TTT, Deer Defenders, and Oricorio here?
I would put TTT, then Deer Defenders, then Oricorio.
I would
You-
agree
but-
with that.
You've kind of
agree with that
convinced
as
me.
well.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think that's fine. I think TTT and Deer Defenders are more changeable between the two. I think Oricorio is the better of the three. But
What about you, Jamaarkques?
I agree with that as well. I think that's where I'd put them.
Cool.
alright, this is
We're
where it
on-
gets hard.
We're on it.
Yeah.
8
okay.
does not have much contention, apparently. Apparently, Boss Mare was
Yeah.
number 8.
I put Boss Merrill 8.
I think I did as well. I put it near there.
I think I did as well.
I am the coach of the Boston Royals for context.
That you
Uh,
are.
Yes, I am. So I'll let you guys yap before I come
Okay.
in. But go ahead.
First of all, I think. Well, you already know I'm not a big McCorkle fan,
I
but
know you're
apparently
not.
I'm the minority on that. I think it's fine. It's obviously it's really one-dimensional, but it's Sun, so you kind of get a pass for that because it's Sun is always going to be one-dimensional,
Mhm.
and if you're committing to something this hard, it's might as well be Sun. Sometimes it could just brute force a lot of wins, and you honestly, Ogerpon Walking Wake is really threatening, and I like that. It just feels like if someone's able to shut down your Sun, you kind of lose the game
I would
really
agree with that.
fast.
I think you're
really
very dependent
fast.
on the sun. And once the sun's gone, you're done. Sick bar right
True.
there.
I don't know if I necessarily completely agree with that, because I think Pheasantipity, Donphan, Zoroark, and Slitherwing all kind of do things outside of Sun. They don't need it.
Well, yeah, but I think it's offensive threat. I mean, Ogerpon hits like a truck no matter what, right? If you go Spect Wake, it still hits hard.
Wake,
without
yeah,
the
especially
sun.
Wake also hits like a truck
It-
or
It'll hit hard. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't have offensive power. I think I honestly think it struggles more defensively without the sun. Because, I don't
It's
know.
like a hyper offense Sun team, and it's gonna win
Yeah.
or lose.
But it has
It's
no
fine.
screens, doesn't it? Like, there's no screens.
I think if this team's ever on like the backbone with like Pheasantipity, it's probably losing. So like, I don't know. It's a fine team.
It is. It's a good offensive Sun team, but
Yeah.
I think it's the least versatile of the hyper offensive variants in the league.
I'd agree. I don't think that there's like a lot that I guess completely like shuts it out in terms of like something's always going to be taking like a really big hit,
Yeah.
no matter what, like comes in on either Wake or Ogre Pawn. I'm pretty like versatile in pivots as well. I have decent hazard control. I would like it if there was another way for me to get up Sun like twice in a game.
If you're gouging
in case-
fire, a hard
yeah,
sunny
in case
day,
Torgal-
or morning sun would have been crazy.
Let's not do that to me, man.
I'm just saying. That would have been the catalyst here.
For context, gouging fire got I almost had it, but you know it happens, bro. It happens,
5 picks away. Almost had it.
bro. I had a deal going on, man. Relax. Man.
I know.
But yeah, the real if I had gotten gouging fire or walking away, I would have won the whole league. Anyways,
You certainly would be a top 5 team with that.
That's okay. That's okay though. But yeah, I don't know. It's one dimensional. Yeah, I wanted something pretty easy this time around.
2 hours later.
Listen, last season I shat the bed. We'll say that.
There you
So this season I wanted something a little bit more simple, something that was fun, and with all the protomons floating around, I was like, all right, why not Sun? So that's pretty much what I did. It hits hard, it pivots, it has hazard clear, it has a grounded poison. It checks all the boxes you would want except for like a steel type in a draft league, and that's what it does. That's pretty much it.
And you can just have a Terra Steel to answer that, right? So I think it has a very solid roster. It's definitely a playoff contender in my opinion, and it could win the league, assuming you play like a beast.
Yeah, I think definitely semis. Winning the league with the other like top 3.
Honestly, dude,
I don't
give
know.
yourself some more credit. I think almost any team that makes playoffs is a very good chance of winning.
I agree, actually.
I think it's not nearly
yeah,
as
I agree
top
with
heavy
that.
anymore.
I think realistically, any playoff teams, or like maybe even any playoff contender teams, could make a very convincing run.
Absolutely.
Top 10
Okay.
could, yeah.
I got you.
So-
Okay. But yeah.
7, the highest here was also a Boss Marrow. Pretty appropriately ranked, it seems. But what would we say is the number 7? It's very divided according to the votes.
I'd probably put FNAF.
I would
I
too.
would as well.
I think-
That's
I think the
main
Trick Room
thought.
team, as cute as it is, as fun as it is to watch and play against, it is cute. I love the idea. I love the gimmicks that we're going into this season. But
I disagree personally. I would rate Trick Room higher. I'd probably put it at least
Listen,
5.
I think this team looks pretty scary on paper. It'll be my favorite team to watch. I love what he's done. I absolutely love Dragalge Ursaluna as a core. I think they
Agreed.
work really well together, especially under Trick Room, obviously. I don't know how consistently he will be able to be using Trick Room. Like, it goes a lot faster than you think, those 5 turns.
yeah,
And honestly, there can be a lot of games where if you don't plan it all ahead right, you can end up throwing it away. On paper, I'm a pretty big fan of this roster, and that's why I gave it the edge over
Yeah.
Boss Merrill. I would like to see it succeed. I hope it does.
I don't
It
know if
could
they'll.
end up falling out in practice, though,
Right.
which is why I'm a little
I
cautious.
mean, there's
about
so many ways to beat Trick Room that people probably don't think of off the top of their head, right? You can protect stall, you can get substitute up and beat out another turn off of it. Like there are so many ways. If you have a regenerator core, you can just pivot and
priority
keep
as
switching
well
hits.
if you have heavy priority.
Yeah, like it is really counterable. It's a fun team that's I'm very much going to like playing against. I got some tech cooked up already, but
It is, but I think the reason I'm putting it higher is because I think he doesn't even necessarily need Trick Room to be ran on the team for it to succeed. I think, yeah, somebody could possibly prep for the Trick Room and like lower their speed tiers on certain mons or etc. And he just shows up and he doesn't even have Trick Room, and he'll be completely fine in that. He has Dragapult, for like, obviously pretty
Goat
damn
mon.
fast mon. King Gambit doesn't need speed. Obviously, it's gonna sucker punch you to death.
yeah.
Ursula can take hits. Scullers can take hits. His team, like, yeah, they're slow. Obviously, Trick Room, but they could definitely take hits, and that's the scary part is that he doesn't need it. Even if he brings Hatterene or Dusclops, doesn't mean that he's running it, and you won't know that until he presses that button.
It's very true.
So that's why I rated it higher.
Yeah, you can make like a passable balanced team without Trick Room.
But I don't think it's exceptional without. the
It's not
Terracaptain.
exceptional, but you definitely can make it work. Which, in the draft league, where
not.
oftentimes you only have to win like 1 or 2 games,
Yeah.
definitely could work.
The Glass
But-
Tree I like as a Terracaptain a lot, honestly. And Dusclops, I put a lot of respect in him after last season. He kind of went 1v9.
And he can do Fortress as Terra Captain too.
Yeah, he can
Yeah.
also fit Fortress under these points.
Which that mon was on a team and never got used. So I honestly don't know how much that could do in a draft, but
He's pretty versatile. Gives you solid hazard control, especially if you want to commit the Terra to him. Which on this team, there's not like a high priority Terra that you'd want to.
good
So
on Glass Tree,
it honestly
right?
doesn't feel bad Terra and Fortress.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a solid team, and it could definitely be a top tier team. I just think it's gonna be a big learning curve, like a big learning curve. Not reflecting the
Hey,
standings.
it's a high skill ceiling though. If he can do it,
It'll go
it'll be
crazy if you can do
It's
it.
gonna be crazy.
If you can do it, it'll
Yeah,
go crazy.
it's real.
Yeah, it's up to him. If
Yeah,
he can
it
do
is.
it, he can. You know, it's gonna be crazy though. I'm hyped.
I'm
Definitely,
hyped, too.
like I said, that favorite team to watch, and my ass going to be on that every fucking time.
Yep. So number 6 is a pretty strong majority here. I disagreed
Oh,
with
wow.
this. I put it a little higher, but Psyduck Psychosis at 6. Let's go right over here. This
Okay.
team, ooh. I love the core cooked up between Volcarona, Annihilate, and Samurott, with Arachnid constantly sticky web as a Terror Captain to get as many webs up as possible. This thing is going to be a menace, and Metagross dominates in a sticky web environment.
I'll go out here and I'll say I did put Psyduck Psychosis at 6, mainly because I was looking and comparing it. I got stuck here for a hot minute, and I was trying to decide which team to put 6. But looking at the rest of the teams, I think that it's obviously very good. It's top 6. And it has like pretty much everything except for like nope. I mean, okay. Yeah, okay. It pretty much has everything that you could possibly like really want. But just comparing it to the rest of the teams that are top 5, I think it just falls a bit short in terms of actual power, in my opinion. Offensive power, just to be clear.
Yes,
I
you
don't know
Really?
if I'd
here.
necessarily
I think
agree with
that's
that.
maybe the one area it might excel the most.
I think so too. Yes,
It is-
Annihilate,
it is
Samurott,
strong.
Volcarona, Metagross, or Superior.
I have some pretty scary wall
Girder.
breakers on the team.
Yeah.
Specifically,
Well,
Arachnid,
Metagross.
Metagross, and Annihilate are like the big ones.
Like he's gonna hit. I think this team is extremely strong offensively, and it's bulky enough to switch in on stuff with Colossal and such.
You think it falls short defensively?
Yeah, that's
Comparatively,
actually
yeah.
I
why
think it actually
this
gets
is-
hurt the most.
this is my team. I actually did rank it number 6, so a little low from how I usually rank my teams. But I think it falls off a little bit. Defensively, it can get a little shaky. There's no fairy type. I have a bit of a ghost issue, to be honest.
Yeah.
Something in the Duosion slot could improve that. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but honestly, I've been searching really hard for something that could work with those points. I haven't found it yet, but I do think it plays around Sticky Web really well. I think the offensive core works really well together. They play into each other. I will sure as hell have a lot of fun playing this roster, which was honestly the main point of why I drafted it. And there's probably a few changes I can make to adjust, but overall, I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, Shadow Ball kind of 1v9's your team now that I'm looking at it.
I wouldn't say 1v9, but
It's pretty
it
goddamn
does
close.
hurt it.
I have to,
Would you
I have
like a suggestion to it?
Sure.
Personally, I think dropping Flygon and Duosion for a Lowland Muck would actually.
Ooh,
kinda
I am
help
a-
this team.
Really big Alolan Muck fan, I'll be honest.
Is it what type is that? Is that fairy poison or
Yeah.
no?
Poison Dark.
Poison.
Poison Dark. So it has the Ghost Resist. It's especially bulky, which this team kind of needs a little bit. And then it's Grounded Poison, which.
Oh, I
this
was
team
gonna say
doesn't
you don't
like.
have a grounded poison type as well. That would
So that
help.
would kind of beef this up a little
Fits
bit.
a
Yeah,
lot
that
of
could be
rules.
something to look into. I actually really wanted to drop that mon a lot, but I couldn't find
The only
an
problem with
amazing way to fit it.
Flygon is you want to have a solid ground type unless you're tearing or Arachnid around, right?
Yeah. It can be good. I have some solid grass types, but yeah, there definitely is like an electric weakness sort of with this team. But
Yeah, especially if you end up
Mhm.
dropping Flygon for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what's gonna tank a Thunderbolt?
I do love this team though. Like it is an offensive team that looks like it smacks and synergizes super well together. Like I would enjoy playing this team as well. I think it'd be really fun to watch.
You guys did convince me on the defensive aspects for sure, actually. So
It has so much offensive prowess. That's the last thing I'm worried about, right?
Yep.
And number 5. Right now we have Palatine Mafia there. I know one person is called biased a little bit and put themselves at 1. But let's talk about Palatine Mafia. This team, I'll be straight up. I do not want to play your ass ever.
I hate looking at this.
Ever,
it's
bro.
cringe, It's cringe, man. It's cringe.
This is the most, like, this is so bulky with a Calm Mind Ladio setup, a Heat Ran. Like, how am I supposed to kill you? How? You have 2 Wish Flippers. 2!
Status, maybe? Status, maybe?
Maybe. He has
But not
Gargalon to
not
eat
really.
it.
If you're trying to toxic him, he has Heat Ran, he has Clefable with potential Magic Guard, he has Garganackle. He's got 3 ways to avoid this shit, man.
I think you can
Hey.
make a pretty convincing Stallbreaker team that could potentially point some holes in here, but overall it works really well together. It's just really annoying. I
It's
mean,
gonna
just
take
look at
really
this thing.
creative drafts.
He's got a regenerator core.
Take a
Yeah,
lot of
you're gonna have
creative
to.
sets.
One thing I will say about this is honestly, it's an annoying team, but you're gonna have to prep really well and really thoroughly for it, which gives it a lot of bonus points in my book.
I think I put him I can't remember exactly where I put him, but I put him higher than 5 IMO.
I put him at 6.
higher.
And I think it's
Yeah.
a fair spot. I mean,
I think I landed at 5.
my 4 through 6 are Psyduck Psychosis, Greedy Gliscors, and Palatine Mafia. I think those are all very interchangeable. But, I don't know. What do you think, Jamaarkques?
Personally, I kind of love my team because it kind of fits my playstyle really well.
Right.
I do think there's a few teams that are in contention that are better than it. I would say Incineroar on this roster doesn't really feel like it fits anything crazy other than being like a prankster mon or a blocker or prankster, which really isn't that big of a deal.
Useful.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really versatile because there's so many sets I can run on all my mons. I don't know. It's gonna be really hard to prep for.
It is.
I think I have to play it. The sets I have to create kind of have to be creative to win, though.
Absolutely.
That's kind of on me. So we'll see.
I mean, I think it really promotes a lot of outside the box thinking in a draft league, which I'm all for. It's just so aids to look at, man.
Yeah, I'll definitely be interested in seeing like this team's games,
Yeah, me
both
too.
for and against.
Absolutely. I think
So.
there'll be some really fun sets and
Yeah.
too many
'cause-
chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah.
God damn. Alright, so number 4, it's tied between Psyducks and Greedy Gliscors.
Greedy guy scores, I think.
I think Greedy Gliscor is
maybe
also.
up next year, yeah.
I love this roster.
Oh my goodness. Golden Go Gliscor.
I wonder why.
Yum, yeah. Cars did not help draft this team.
Yeah, I helped lab this together, but I think it works really well together. The main, obviously his name, we wanted to build around Gliscor, and Golden Go has like amazing Gliscor synergy. And then the defensive core for this is like really hard to break. Between Golden Go, Gliscor, and Polion, Hydrapple is like a 4 that's really solid and really great. Particularly at hazard stacking, but he also has great pivots for his hard-hitting breakers.
Absolutely.
Toxtricity and Arcanine are some of the best breakers in the game. So I'm a big fan of this. I think it has almost everything.
Renargi is one of the best Terra Captains available too in Hitmonlee, which
Yeah.
hits hard, man. I love
To be honest with you, I've never seen Hitmonlee. What does it do? Like, you guys
It's an
can-
unburdened sweeper.
Yeah, and it has
Oh,
like
yeah.
very
Yeah.
diverse priority coverage.
With what, wider close combat? Is that what
Usually, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Blaze Kick is pretty good too
Yep.
for coverage.
It has Shadow Sneak, Sucker Punch, and Mach Punch, I believe.
Shadow Sneak. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has a lot of priority coverage too, which is really valuable in my
Oh.
opinion.
I'm also a big fan of the Volibee, to be honest. It gives him a much needed ghost resist.
Absolutely. He has no dark types, otherwise he'd kind of get cooked, right? But Volibee does
Yeah.
the job. EV light it up, it's gonna tank.
Absolutely.
I will say this roster looks a little bit scared of like a strong fire type.
True.
I don't think it can handle that, like a raging whatever.
Mhm.
Right, Gouging Fire?
Gouging
Yeah,
Fire.
yeah.
Give it
Yeah,
some
I think
issues,
that
yeah.
kind of runs over this roster. You don't ever want to switch Arcanine and Hisu into that, and just kind of two-shots everything here.
If Chiyu made it.
True.
Bro. God.
Anywho,
I will say one more thing about the Glasgow team is that with that 4-core, it's definitely on the coach to, use your time than his opponent. Like try to guess what he's gonna switch in and stuff like that. But it's definitely on the coach too to kind of
make the right reads.
it's almost like a skill check in a way,
Yeah.
between him and his opponent and knowing what he's to swap in, swap out. So, but he has the potential, and because of that, it's, definitely a great team.
We're talking straight potential here, and this team has it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Agree.
At number 3, with a 50% vote, it's my team, baby.
Yeah, Tau Noir, Midnight Revelations. I guess you'll take a quick back seat here.
I will.
Looking at the team, I mean, off rip, the big Monka-ass glaring eyes is Sneasler Rillaboom. With Unburdened, Grassy Seed, it's the works, pretty much. Pretty much. Then you got Meowscarada as a solid mon overall. I mean, it does quite literally everything. It sets up, it pivots, it hits hard. The only thing it doesn't do is it's not that bulky, but even then, it can do something here every now and then here, in terms of as a take an offensive hit or two. But the roster is very solid overall. As you stated before a couple of minutes ago, you said it's very physical, heavy, which I do see that here. I do agree with that. Looking down at the roster, your only really good special attacker would be is it Vika or Vika?
Vikavolt.
Vikavolt.
Yeah.
Vikavolt.
Vikavolt,
Vikavolt
Driftbloom.
here. Driftbloom, yeah, it throws out shadow balls, but I don't think it hits crazy hard, as far as I'm aware. But yeah, I do like the Skunk Tank. I think you picked it up recently. I do really like that a lot, rounding out the team. But yeah, it's solid overall. It even has screens, great hazards, obviously hazard control in great tusk. I don't think you have any other
Defog.
hazard control.
Defog on
Defog
right?
on drift, yes. So you have multiple forms of hazard control as well. Grounded poison. You're not scared of ghost at all. The only thing you're missing would be maybe a little bit of priority. No, Grassy Glide. What am I
Grassy
talking about?
Glide.
Yeah. So,
Strongest one in the game.
yeah, no, yeah, hey, it is what it is. But yeah, it's a solid roster.
Yeah, I mean, this is the hyper offense team. Going screens into Unburdened Sneasler can and honestly will win many games this season. One of the scariest cores in the game. Great Tusk Masquerada, also some of the most threatening ones in the league. There is some potential weaknesses here. Obviously, very flying weak. Just looking at the first 4 months alone. I also worry that something like a strong unaware mon could be some trouble here. But again, there is a lot of tools to play around that. Still some solid breakers, particularly your grass types, and Great Tusk even. So I think it's a fantastic hyper offense team. It's gonna run over a lot of teams. There are some issues, which is why I put it a little under our top 2. But hey, it does exactly what it wants to. So
I think it has probably the strongest 6 core and of all the rosters. 6 Pokemon that are just could be run every single time and just will win based off raw power.
yeah, that's fair.
Imagine run the same roster every goddamn week.
The point with the unaware mod, actually, bringing it up, that actually is a pretty good point to shut down the roster.
Well, it really only
Or
shuts
at least
down
not
Sneasler.
not the roster, but the big sweeper.
Until it gets dire clawed.
Yeah, and then it gets cooked by one of the 3 hazards status it's gonna get. So
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes Sneasler just wins games like that by
Awesome.
putting something to sleep.
pretty epic, isn't it?
Kind of fucked up.
Well, our number 2, it was really close between Rillabombas and Mothgang for the top 1 off the votes, but Mothgang has more for
You're gonna
2.
talk about your own team, bro?
I mean, listen, man, you guys kind of summed it up really well, dude. It's a hyper offense team. I love hyper offense, and having so many hazards, having screens. There's so many ways to win the game. I can make almost any one of my mons set up. Great Tusk can do it. Sneasler can do it. I could use Subsea Rillaboom to break stall if I had to, right? Deoxys is the slow pivot. Grimmsnarl has parting shot pivot. Drifloom's gonna be a really freaking beast terror captain, I'll tell you right now. And I think Vikavolt really rounds it out. I had Rotom Fan at first. It was good and all, but I noticed I didn't have sticky webs. And now I have sticky webs. And that means even without Sneasel being unburdened, all my mons can outspeed a lot of teams and just beat them to death. Right? Like I think there's a lot of options for me to break through teams. Like Sudowoodo in grassy terrain, wood hammering without recoil on repeat would be very disgusting. But I do agree it is a top 3 roster. I put it at 2, like right in the middle, because I think the top 3 are very interchangeable based off matchups, and I want to see how they prep for the matches. But our number 2 boy is, where is he? Mothgang. Mothgang. Don't mind the Mandibuzz nickname. I can't even read it. It's a banger though. Feel free to pause and zoom in. But this roster is crazy, honestly. I think it is the most flexible offense one available.
I'm in love with this roster. I think there's a lot of different tools at play. I think there's a lot of different avenues you could take it, which is exactly how I like to play, usually. He has Salazzle, one of the best stall breakers in the game, and Mew, also one of the best stall breakers in the game.
Yep.
And honestly, it's a very well-rounded roster. Probably in contention for the best Terra Captain in our league, Frostmoth.
Yep.
I think this roster does it all. It's a very high skill margin, so Vaughn will have to prep well and also execute it well. But if he's able to pull it off, I can see this winning the league very easily.
I mean, Quacklevolt, I think, is one of the most flexible offensive mons available, right? Like, it has so many good moves, and it kind of sucks you're limited into a move pool, but once you figure out a role for it, it gets triple axle, it could be a sweeper with Aqua Step Moxie, it could be a bulky pivot, it has flip turn, roost, it could be a rapid spinner. His team has a lot of unique sets, and it's hard to prep against, like you said. Honestly, I don't see any glaring weaknesses.
I put him lower than 2. Honestly, I can't remember the exact reason why at this moment. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I will say that other than Frostmoth, I think the bottom, even Florges, I know it's an amazing mon, you know, Wish Protect, etc. But I think like the Florges, Cutie is not really a mon.
Garton, Eater of Worlds.
Yeah, of course. But I don't really like the Florges, and I don't like the Electrode. I feel like you kind of just shoehorn the Florges on there just for some utility, and because you needed a fairy type. It's a good one, but
Okay, here's my defense with the Florges. It's extremely specially bulky, which is really nice with Mandibuzz.
He needed that on the team.
And also Iron Treads, right? Realistically, I don't know if he'll ever bring Electrode, and definitely probably not Cutiefly. But having a Wish Engine is very nice, especially for Iron Treads and Kyurem. So, I honestly kind of like it here. Again, give him that fairy type, rounds out his defensive profile.
Definitely has a role in the roster, I think.
I mean, I kind of agree with everything you guys are saying. I think he has a super high skill ceiling, like, because there's so many different sets he can run on some of his mons. They all kind of do similar things, but there's so many different ways he can approach it that he's gonna have to prep really hard every single week.
Yep.
But he can easily win almost every matchup.
Absolutely.
I agree.
And that's like, if we're looking at optimal potential, I think he's absolutely a top 3 team off that. Whether it lives up to it, that's on Vaughn, but it definitely has the potential. And that leaves us with a trend in our league, it seems. Whoever gets the first pick overall is usually number 1.
Rillabombas!
Rillabombas here, and they got the Landorus Incarnate, which is a beast of a mon, as it is.
Crazy they got Archewelodon after that. I can't even lie to you.
Archaludon and Pelipper
24.
making this a rain team is a crazy pivot I did not see coming. I'll be real.
Tornadus is also really sick on rain teams.
He has 2 unique storm moves that 100% in rain. And then he has Among Us as a regenerator core. Like, this is nice.
Yeah.
I love
Among
this
Us
roster.
also high range synergy, like,
Yep.
yeah.
Fast
Yeah.
Legion, super high range synergy.
Yep.
He's just got some of the most potent wall breakers in the league. Landorus, terrifying. Archaludon under rain, very terrifying.
Tornadus. Even
Yeah.
though he's a regenerator mon, like, he hits hard under rain. cannot
He
disrespect.
does.
Pelipper can hit hard if he went choice spec for some reason. Like, and Basculage you can sweep very easily under
The
raid.
only thing that this roster is missing is like a grounded poison type, if you even care about that.
Yeah,
He has
I don't.
copper
I don't know how
damage.
much you care about it with. Well, he has a Moongus,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
also
my bad, my
He
bad.
does.
I don't know how much you care about it with the pace this team will be playing at most games. But
He's Smash Mouth kind of game, right?
yeah, I think this is a very convincing argument for number one.
Absolutely.
I think.
Go ahead.
Does Pelipper have defog? I don't know.
I was about to say, I don't know if he has hazard control.
I think they might have
Well, he
removed
has
it.
Chinchina
but-
with Tidy Up.
I believe it's
So
only
I would
Chinchino.
say
Oh.
hazards like rocks kind of hurt this team a bit because you never really want to run
Boots.
boots on Pelipper, and you don't really want to
Pelipper.
run boots
On
on
Lando.
Landorus,
No.
but you can.
I think it really weakens him with that sheer force. Honestly.
Yeah, he's neutral at least, so you can get away with Life Orb
Yeah.
most game.
But yeah, rocks kind of hurts this team a bit, so playing around hazards and stalling his team out is really the best way to beat it, but it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
hard
a
ask.
tough storm to weather.
Absolutely.
There is definitely that light at the end of the tunnel if you manage to make it there. So there's some potential holes here, but I feel like it's a very strong argument for number one team.
And with our preseason power rankings out of the way, I'll put a recap on the screen right here. It's time for us to do our pick'ems. And we've already done them ahead of time. Our runtime's going a little long, I won't lie.
We can just
we'll
kind of
kinda-
speed through it.
We'll kind of go through these really quick,
Mhm.
right? So, Lexus versus Mystic, that's Deer Defenders and Trick Room team. We're kind of split on this. I think it'll be a learning curve for Lexus. A very hard one, and it could very easily go Deer Defenders' way, even though I think they're one of the weaker teams in the league.
Here's my argument, since I'm the only one who voted for Mystic, Deer Defenders. Okay, I think the Trick Room team is gonna take some getting used to. You're right on that. Also, he's got some really good anti-Trick Room teams, anti-Trick Room tools. Like he's got a lot of Trick Rooms himself. He's got some pretty he's got some Pokemon that'll be pretty hard to break through even in Trick Room. Like Sinistcha, I think is a big deal against this matchup. So I think he has the tools to do it. That's why I voted for Deer Defenders.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think you guys keep talking about like the learning curve. It'll definitely take him a while, but realistically, right? All he's gonna do is just spam a couple games on ladder to like get a real feel for like Trick Room, or even like just mock against some people, and see how the team plays out, and then you'll get like a good idea probably within like 5 games or so. So I think he'll be fine on that if he puts in the time. But otherwise, I think that he beats Mystic just like I don't know, like knowing the two. I think Lexus is a really good battler.
Sure.
If we had done like superlatives or something, I would have given him most improved by far.
Absolutely.
In the last season as well. I think he's a really good, smart battler. He preps really well. And don't get me wrong, Mystic's a good battler too. I just think Lexus is just like,
He was rookie of the split last one for
Yeah,
sure.
pretty much.
Absolutely.
So I put my money on Lexus in this one.
Okay. You have anything you want to add, Jamark, or kind of summarize all of it?
Nah, that covers everything I would say.
Yeah, okay. So the next one is Megaverse versus Deborah, which is Villa Bombos and
Yeah.
Oricorios. Guys, let's be real here. I think this is going to be
Not
a
much to say
wash.
I think he has a pretty big electric weakness, and he's gonna struggle to out Orchelladon
Yep.
under rain.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be very difficult to deal with. It doesn't help that Landorus is beating his cheeks.
I think Deborah would have to play pretty bad
Yeah.
to lose this
He
one.
would.
So the next one is Jamark and Holmesy. We all have the same result,
Except cards.
except for
Again,
cards. I mean, we do have the winners the same, but
Hey, I think.
Why are you giving him the one there, Guards? Curious.
Listen, I think he has the tools to do it. I think, honestly, it's gouging fire in like Dondozo could pose some threats here. I think he could do it. I give him a game. Hey,
That's fair.
yeah. I think it's going to take time people learn how to break the Jamark's team, too. I guess
Yeah, I feel like
fair.
if you're playing Jamark later in the season,
you have a better chance.
you'll definitely have a better chance. But off rip, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you'll see my tricks by then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll kind of see what you're cooking up here, right? The next one is, I think, the closest match of the week, or most divided on, or at least closest to the division. It's Firelight versus Rexalis, which is Moth Gang versus Boss Barrel. And I went with Moth Gang because I think it's a really strong team. And I think Boss Barrel's going to struggle to match it defensively. I'm not a Mad Cargo hater, but I think Frostmoth, if it gets one set up, bro, it's going to run through you.
Yeah, that's my big concern. Terra Captain Frostmoth could pose a lot of issues for this matchup.
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was something I'm definitely looking at, because it's a very scary Terramon for sure. And the 3 Terra types he has for it, I think it's Ice, Ground, and something else. But the Ground Terra especially is something that I'm fearing pretty most. But we'll have to see how it goes. Obviously, I'm not gonna count myself out in the closest matchup in the first week, in my opinion. So I went with myself coming out on top. I think I can do it. Obviously, I think Vaughn's a really good battler as well. I think he can do it as well. He came in pretty much not as green as Lexus. He had some prior Pokemon battling experience, but I don't think he had a super ton of competitive Pokemon experience, if I can remember correctly. But he did, by the end of the season, he ended up learning a lot, and I think he'll take that, obviously, with him into this season, so he'll be a tough opponent for me to beat here.
Yeah, I can see it going either way. I just give the nod to him because I think his Terra Captain can sweep your ass.
I agree.
I think it comes down to game 1, honestly.
True.
And I think whether or not he presses the wrong, or switches to the wrong Vaughn versus Rex's team, kind of determines how that match is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can snowball. I think I can snowball pretty. Like if I get a snowball going with the Sun team, it's going to be pretty hard to bounce back from it.
Yeah, I agree.
You always have thin margins of error versus Sun because any one wrong turn could mean you just instantly get blown up by a fire move.
There were many times where I've caught Vaughn off guard last season. Every time he played me, his Meowscarada was sacked turn 1. So it's very possible one of those thin margins could happen. But our next matchup, I also think is going to be a closer one. But it is Loker versus Cardinals, so Greedy Glass Scores, and Psyduck Psychosis. I gave Greedy Glassers a game because I think the Golden Go Hazard game is going to be really potent into your team. I think it'll be hard for you to switch around, especially since you're mostly not that bulky. You have defensive issues. You can sit there and make it rain on your ass. It's going to be kind of hard to deal with, but I think you'll come out with the win.
Knowing the two coaches, I put 2-1 here, but honestly I can see 2-1 or 2-0. I put 2-1 because Loker or David, his team's very strong, but in regards to coming down to like the personal thing, Cards usually is the one that helps David like prep and like kind of put together ideas and stuff like that. So going off him, obviously Cards is not going to help him week 1, I would assume, right? So David, if he's gonna beat Cards, he needs to put thinking cap on the noggin and kind of figure this one out for himself here.
I put 2-0 just guys. I think one of the only glaring weaknesses of this team, David's team, is its lack of potent hazard removal, which I think will make it a pretty hard time versus the Sticky Webs team.
Yep.
Especially versus powerful breakers. So that's the only reason I give myself the nod. But again, I'm a big believer in his roster, so he could definitely put up a good fight.
Also, typing-wise, I think you're kind of weak to electric ground, and he doesn't really have any great electric ground types. And then he's kind of weak to fire, and you have a great fire type in Volcarona, so...
He has Gliscor Earthquake, just that.
Not the greatest.
It's okay. Typically.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go SD Gliscor, right? That's not a bad set at all. I think that could do a lot of work. No, don't say crazy. I think that's really good, honestly. I think
It's pretty good.
I think
I
it
don't
could
know
do
if it'll
work,
win
yeah.
the game versus
What?
me.
Well, like SD, Roost, Earthquake.
Doesn't get roost anymore.
Doesn't get
Samurai
roost. He has
lead
toxic
versus
form.
Oh, right.
I don't know about that.
Well, yeah. Oh, he wouldn't play Gliscor as a lead. He'd play him as a sweeper. But I think it could do work. Absolutely. The next matchup, it is Wigglewhoop versus Chateau Noir, excuse me. And we all have the same exact result. I'm going to be honest. I played Kindo last season twice. I kind of just rolled them over with hyper offense that season. I feel like nothing's going to change. My offensive team is better, and I think his team is worse. So
I just don't think he has the tools to withstand your offense at all.
I agree.
So
He's not ready for Dire Claw. That's all I'm
no,
gonna say.
no, he is not ready for Dire Claw. I think it'll be a sneezer 6-0 one of those games. But
yeah,
6-0 is crazy.
No.
Lando could be a good threat, but he's gonna have to play really well around that.
yeah, he is. He's got to really intimidate Cycle Me.
Or maybe Blaziken can steal
Can
game.
you put money,
It
can you
always
put money
can.
down on this 6-0? I'm curious.
We'll talk about it. Temple and Nathan's our last matchup of week 1. That's Sky VIP, Sky Pillar VIP, and
You gave it a Temple.
I did give it to Temple over Rock Rough days. Cause you know what? I think he's gonna have a rough day.
I think Corviknight kind of solos this matchup. Is my thought.
I also agree
You're
about
probably
it.
agree
right
with
about
that.
that.
I
But
agree
you
with
know, maybe he just misplays and Corviknight gets sacked for funsies, right?
Maybe he
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe.
He misplaced.
That's what I.
That's
Listen,
the argument. That's the argument to what maybe he misplaced.
Maybe.
listen, I'm counting.
Fucks it up.
I'm counting on a close series, and the Corviknight misplay happening at the worst moment. That's my prediction. I'll
Hey,
be
we
real.
all gave at least a game. So
Yeah.
like maybe we all believe in the Corviknight fuck up.
Like it could really happen, guys. It could. It could.
That's a maybe he misplaced, bro.
It could. I'm not gonna count him out.
Alright, until Temple kind of shapes up his roster and figures out what the hell he's doing with his Terras, probably everyone that faces him, I'm gonna give it to them. I'm not gonna lie. So he's got to
Yeah.
figure out what he's doing with his Terras. I'm just being honest.
I get it.
That's my boy, you know. But
Yeah.
Lucario is scary as a Terra.
It
You don't
is.
really need
I
to-
agree.
I agree, yeah.
But right now, he does not have Terra Normal on that thing, and that
Yes,
is
he
a
does.
He
problem.
does now.
Oh, he does now.
He
Okay,
does. I
cool.
think he can really
I
run
mentioned
away
it
with
too.
it.
Okay, that's good.
I mean, the top 6 of his team is a pretty solid lineup.
Absolutely.
So,
The problem is, I mean, Corviknight still kind of solos. No?
I mean, Iron Moth potentially, if he switches poorly.
What if he
Yeah,
was like?
yeah,
what
it's
if he
a
was
it's a
mixed
one
Lu-
tool.
It was like a mixed Lucario. Maybe. I don't know.
It's doable. I think it's doable.
I don't know.
I'll give a nod to my boy. But with that, that'll conclude our week 1 video. Thank you guys for coming out, watching, sticking with us this long, and obviously thank you guys for joining me in this lovely, lovely endeavor to discuss our Pokemon Draft League. Thanks for checking us out.
If you're still watching, you're either asleep, doing homework, or well, you're still
Or
watching.
the video's at 1.5x, so
Yeah, something like that. Drop a like, give us a sub. You know what I'm saying? We're new. We're trying to figure things out, and we hope you stay with us and enjoy the content we got going on here.
absolutely. Please give me editing feedback too. I'm new to this.